Welcome back to the Unexplained and the Unexplainable. I'm your host D. My co-host over there will be. You don't see him. He's here though. He's definitely not being held hostage. So we have been gone for a long time. Yes, you probably thought we were dead. You were definitely worried about us. That was the one thing you were worried about right now.
We took a little break.
Yeah, we didn't really take a break. We were just kind of like, okay, let's not do this for a while.
It's been a busy summer. It's been very hot here.
I've been very busy playing a bunch of Watch Dogs Legion, and I was looking at our analytics the other day, and the device that people are watching it on, there was like 14, I think, on mobile phone. Yeah, 14 on mobile phone that are watching this. 4 people on computer that are watching this. 2 on tablet, and 1 person on the television watching this.
Man,
Which I think is amazing, because to the person that watches this on TV, yes, I thank you, because this makes me feel like it's a television show, like it's a TV show. It's a podcast. I like that, the variety type of this, you know?
I guess we want to thank all of our listeners.
I want to thank everyone. People on phone, you're good, because I know you're watching this probably on the go. People on the computer, you're probably watching this doing some sort of work. People on tablet, probably one of the younger people that can't have phone, or just want to have watch on tablet. Television, you're probably someone that wants to listen to a TV show.
Maybe you're in prison and you don't have anything else to do.
And I'm pretty sure, I think either like Norway or like Canadian prisons, they actually have like windows and like televisions.
Like the operating system, like Microsoft.
They have like no in Norway they have TVs in the prisons.
Really?
Yeah.
They have TVs in prisons here too.
Did you?
Some of them, yeah.
I mean, like the jail cell, like the prison cells.
Yeah, you can like get one. They're really weird looking. They're completely clear, so you can't hide anything in them, like a weapon or something. Wow. But they do make those, yeah.
Yes. Can I have a prison TV? Yay, prison.
All right. We'll look into that. Maybe we can borrow one from your uncle.
He's definitely been there a long time, probably.
I'm sure he knows all about it.
Yeah. And Roswell, that's our case today.
Episode 8.
Yeah, you interrupted me. Why did you interrupt
Sorry, I
me?
wanted to put a place here where we could, start the...
Never interrupt me again. That's very rude.
Sorry.
Okay.
I could not be sorrier.
Okay, so, yeah, Roswell. So, we're gonna go on and talk about that now. In 1947, I haven't done this in a long time. It feels weird to me. Okay. In 1947, there was an unusually large amount of alien/UFO sightings. In the last 6 months of 1947 alone, there were over 300 cases of UFO sightings. Among these was the infamous Roswell incident. Skeptics and other people can agree that something landed in Roswell that day. What it is was highly debated.
So there's no doubt something landed.
No doubt that there was
in Roswell
anything there.
In 1947.
Yeah.
But they just don't know what.
But the only thing we know is there was a typo in that sentence.
Well, it sounds like this is...
I just watched...
This is definitely unexplained. And I guess we'll see if it's unexplainable.
Yeah, the typo was unexplained, isn't it? Wasn't it just a typo?
I think we could probably explain away the typo fairly easily.
Yep.
I have a feeling.
I was really tired.
So Roswell is sort of probably the most well-known place as far as alien sightings go, don't you think? Can you think of one that's better known than Roswell? I can't.
There wasn't one that's better known, but there was like a really interesting shit. I forgot what it's called, but like this lumberjack was abducted by an alien, like a forest, and it's like a really interesting case. I forgot what it's called. I know I had a file for it on Google Docs, but I'll probably find the file at the end of the episode and tell you what it was. Okay. Back to Roswell. Yes, in the official timeline, sometime before June 14th, a crash occurred on Foster Ranch. Just so we all know, Dr. Phil will still send people to said ranch. On July 4th, a local resident named Mac Brazel found the wreckage. On July 7th, he decided to take some of the debris to a local sheriff, George Wilcox. George then contacts a military official at the U.S. Air Base. This base was home to the 509th Bombardment Group, which deployed atomic bombs. I just know they deployed atomic bombs. Okay.
So
atomic bombs have been atomicked.
You know where Roswell is, right? What state that's in?
I know it's in Roswell.
It's in New Mexico, which is sort of a desert kind of area.
Roswell.
And that's why I think the 509th would be there. That's where they would deploy
do nuclear
bombs.
testings.
Right, exactly. Same kind of thing. There's
Yay, weapons.
A lot of that going on over there.
Weapons.
So what happened then after this? So farmer, was he a farmer?
After a local resident is all it said.
Mac Brazel?
Local resident is all it typed. Mac Brazel, amazing name. Like, I would love to be named Mac Brazel.
We can look into that.
I'm not changing. It's a joke.
Okay, all right, fine.
I like my name as it is. It's a good name.
So,
very common name too.
So he takes all this stuff to the Air Force, which I guess makes sense. If you found something that looked like wreckage from a flying vehicle, you probably would think, Air Force. That's probably the only place I can think of you would take that.
Yeah. Timed again.
If you were walking around outside, let's say we were strolling through the neighborhood and we came across some sort of alien wreckage, where would you take it?
If I saw alien wreckage, I'd grab it and I'd do some research and be like, yeah, what kind of stuff is this? And then probably build something out of it. I'd probably, you know what I'd do? This is bad. I'd probably sell it to some of my friends for like $10. Like $10, get indestructible armor. The government, can we have some?
You're an entrepreneur. So what happened after he took it to the Air Force?
So the general that knows about this, the general talks to an intelligence officer named Jesse, who happened to be the 509th resident intelligence officer, and he went to assess the crash and recover some of the materials in the wreckage of the unidentified object. The military official, who we will be calling him Butch. Nice name.
Butch.
That's what I typed there.
Okay.
He was briefed on the crash site visit, and he orders Lieutenant Walter Public Information Officer to order a press release. God, I can't English. I yawned. The Pink Panther yawns are back.
What?
Pink Panther yawns.
A press release.
Yeah.
So, why were they doing why were they going to do a press release?
To tell people UFO, yeah, UFO, woo. There's literally a picture of a press release on your screen.
Oh, there is. You're right. There's a headline from like, the Roswell.
It takes up a quarter of the screen.
Roswell Daily Record, I guess was the paper there.
You could read the newspaper.
So the headline reads, RAAF captures flying saucer on ranch in Roswell region. No details of flying disc are revealed. So it doesn't sound like they put much in their press release other than we found a flying saucer.
Yeah.
That would probably set off a little bit of a panic, you would think, right?
Yeah. Hey, Vinyls got the highest press, higher wage in history.
Yeah, there's some union stuff on here too. Looks like there was a lot going on that day.
Some Soviet stuff.
I don't know what else you would put in your newspaper other than we found a flying saucer.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I think you just have 15, 16 stories about the flying saucer, and you let all this other kind of stuff go.
Well, back then, flying saucer was like, flying saucer, you're mentally insane. Yeah,
so,
and nowadays it's fun flying saucer. Let's talk about theories. Okay. The press release saying that they had a flying saucer in their custody. The Daily Record had the headline, Roswell Airfield captures UFO on local Roswell ranch. General Ramey orders the crash remains to be taken to him for personal inspections. He and his staff, including the base weather officer, concluded it was a crashed weather balloon. A photo was taken from the office showing the materials, ordering a press release for the correction. A lot of press releases.
Yeah, well, I guess after they said, "Hey, everybody, we found a flying saucer," people probably did sort of panic, and then it was like, "Oh no, wait, we looked at it, and it was actually a weather balloon."
Yay! Here's some materials. Flying saucer. Oh no, wait, we looked at it.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
So what's interesting about this part
How
here
can you
is
get a balloon? Like, how can you get like Pennywise's favorite balloon, like confused with a UFO?
so you mentioned that General Ramey ordered that the crash
I think that's his name. I just
remains be taken. Remains would imply to me that there were bodies. Did they find alien bodies here?
You know the remains. You're sounding a lot like a skeptic. Remains could be look at the remains of my food, or the remains of that crashed building, or the remains of Chernobyl. We should do an episode on Chernobyl. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I don't know if Chernobyl's really unexplained though. I think that
it's still sick. Okay, put in the comments. Put in the comments if you want an episode on Chernobyl.
Okay. What's the option? What else would you talk about besides Chernobyl?
I don't know. Put suggestions in the comments.
Okay.
Any suggestion we'll get will probably do because we're desperate for attention. And us to be a new recommendation.
So they issue a second press release for quote unquote correction.
Correction.
And what did that press release say?
That's all we got on the press release for this. The newspaper says that Mac and Cheese claimed it was only some tough materials, and the world forgot about it. Standard, which was the Standard then, but Fred Ann in 1978. He was a nuclear physicist and a leading UFO investigator, or leading crazy person.
Mm-hmm.
He interviewed Jesse, the then retired intelligence officer of the 509th Bombardment Squad, who assessed the wreckage of the incident, and he still believed it was a UFO. He claimed the material felt like there was nothing in your hands, and it wasn't any thicker than foil, which he probably had on his head doing this. But claimed the material, but you could not bend it. You couldn't dent it. Even a sledgehammer would just bounce off of it. He'd never seen anything like it before, and he even claimed that he'd never seen anything like it in his alienness.
So this is a military officer from
military man
from the 509th that we mentioned that stationed there, the guys that had the atomic bombs, and he was interviewed in 1978. I was 3 years old then in 1978. And
don't dox when you were born. You don't dox your age.
Well, it could be any time in the year. That's not really doxing.
Yeah, but
it's fascinating.
You got two options.
His description here, though, is really fascinating. That it's a metal that was very thin, not any thicker than like tinfoil, but you couldn't bend it or dent it, and things would just bounce right off of it. Yeah. I mean, we don't have any kind of a metal like that right now that I know of.
What if, since they're like a bombardment squad, why don't they just put like nukes? Like, put it in the field, nuke.
Well, definitely doesn't sound like it was a weather balloon.
To me, it sounds like it was maybe, just maybe, it may have been a flying saucer.
So, what else did he say in the interview?
He goes on to say it was not anything from this planet, and that he is quite sure of. Being an intelligence officer, so I'm familiar with just about all materials used in aircraft and travel. This was nothing like it. It could not have been. After this interview, more people, both civilian and military, and in the end concluded that there was a massive cover-up. The Roswell incident in 1947 a quote cosmic Watergate. It's alleged includes the details of the crash site, materials, and possible spacecraft. Even alien dead boys.
Hmm.
No one knows if it's a weather balloon, alien, or maybe mysterious metal from Metal Town.
Well, there's a couple of things here that immediately come to mind as far as possible explanations, and let's see what you think here. The first
Say,
thing,
haven't you been a leading Roswell investigator for 50 years?
I didn't want to mention that. I sometimes feel like maybe the audience gets a little intimidated by how much expertise I have on Roswell, and so whenever I'm out giving a lecture or something,
This was
on
the
Roswell,
only case you knew, and all that I've said. I've been like, hey, you want to do something on DBQ, bro? You're like, who's that? Want to do something on Bigfoot? Yeah, I know who he is. Isn't he like a big hairy dude?
So a couple of things that
For some reason, the only thing you know is Bigfoot, Roswell, and the Goat Man.
Yeah.
And the wake, you spend at 3 in the morning. You just spend a couple hours on the internet just looking up creepypastas for some reason.
We should probably do an episode on the rake at some point.
I don't think it's that good. It was
scary.
It was one of the first creepypastas that I ever heard. That's what got me to be this messed up.
So there's a couple of possible explanations here for the Roswell incident. The first, probably most obvious one, would be that it was some sort of government testing going on, maybe a military testing type thing, and the bodies, the quote-unquote bodies that they found or maybe found, were actually test dummies. I think is what the government tried to explain it as. Oh no, these weren't aliens, these were crash test dummies.
Yes, this is, sure, definitely, yep.
Do you buy that?
Maybe.
Okay.
Now, I think they're alien bodies, because if they make test dummies, they're going to be orange car crash dummies, not fleshy alien boys.
Well, if you were just a random guy walking around Roswell and you came upon this crash site and you saw these things there and you weren't exactly sure what they were,
I would hug an alien. I would hug the alien.
Was it possible you would mistake a crash test dummy for maybe a non-human or an alien body?
So if you see a crash test dummy, like one of those orange yellow dudes with the symbols on them, you're not gonna be like, oh yeah, that's an alien. You're gonna be like, oh yeah, they're doing tests of cars and crap here.
Well, the government.
That'd be a good name for a car dealership, cars and crap.
So the Air Force did eventually come out and say in 1994 that it wasn't a weather balloon, but it was a surveillance balloon they were testing, and they were trying to test some sort of new technology to detect nuclear weapons at the time, and that's what it was, and that these bodies were test dummies that for some reason, it doesn't really make sense, they were dropping them out of this balloon, I guess. I don't know. So that's sort of been the official explanation. Now, that doesn't really explain some of the things that you talked about, though, does it? Like the metal?
Does not explain it.
How would you explain that? I mean, you don't have any kind of...
I'd explain it by, government secrets, or maybe I'd just say Soviet bomb. And then walk away. Soviet bomb.
We don't have any sort of metal like they described seeing at Roswell.
Soviet bombs may.
We don't have anything like that now, much less in 1947.
Soviet bombs may have it now.
Well, but that wouldn't explain why it would end up in Roswell, New Mexico.
Okay, go back to the newspaper picture real quick. Go to the newspaper picture.
This is great podcasting when you're talking about pictures that the audience can't see.
Yeah, let's just insert it. Insert it in here.
All right,
but
we'll put this
it says some Soviet stuff. Some Soviet at a meeting. Soviets. Roswell incident. The dummies are Soviets. In the middle was a Soviet ship. It all comes together. And by the way, I forgot my tinfoil. Do you have any idea where it is?
You're wearing it. It's on your head right now.
Oh,
yeah, that happens sometimes. With sunglasses or tinfoil. anything like that.
Yeah. So I thought the government was gonna hack into me for a second.
Oh, they'll be listening. I'm sure they'll be
yeah.
listening. You're
Hey,
too close to the
agent,
truth.
FBI agent, where are you? Hey.
So, it's interesting to me too that
podcast FBI agent.
That they came out with this initial press release saying we found a flying saucer, only to send out like a correction. Oh, whoa, no, whoa, it wasn't a flying saucer. I mean, what kind of mistake was that, do you think? Even if they found, let's say it was just a flying saucer, or not just, but it was exactly a flying saucer. Why would you send out a press release from the Air Force on that?
I have one thing for you.
Yes.
People are stupid.
Sure.
Think about it.
Well, some of them, sure.
Everyone. Most people in existence happen to be stupid people. But that means we're forgetful. We have no idea what's happened. We're confused. We associate things that don't exist with other things because we can't believe what we're seeing. We associate it with the newest thing we've been hearing, being UFOs. So, could be that.
Now, there's a book that I read when I was younger.
Do you read books, dude?
I probably read this book when I was about your age. So.
Dude, you read when you were my age?
I did, yeah. So it was called The Roswell Incident, and it was by these two researchers who had gone out and put all this stuff together, and they had this theory that it was actually an alien spacecraft, and they were in Roswell because the signature, the energy from the nuclear weapons that were being developed there in New Mexico had attracted the aliens, and they wanted to figure out what it was and how close we were to having nuclear weapons. While the alien spaceship is flying and surveying things, it gets hit by lightning and crashes, and that's what Mac Brazel discovered.
Oh, dude, this sounds like a great book that probably a fiction writer would write. Sounds amazing.
Well, they had it researched, though. It wasn't just a story that they made up. They had different accounts from people.
Yo, can I tell you something?
Sure, go ahead.
The movie, are you familiar with the movie The Blair Witch Project?
Yes, I think everybody's familiar with that movie from my age on down. Yes.
Yeah. Well, people are convinced that it was an actual movie, and they were sending cards to the family of those actors to say they're sorry for their loss.
So,
people are gullible and stupid, and we make stories up because we want to feel a connection with something. As Jeff Wingle said in his excellent first episode of Community Speech, I could tell you a pencil is named Tom, and I could break it and you'd feel sadness. We can forgive sharks on Shark Week. We can give Ben Affleck an Academy Award for screenwriting.
Okay, so this Roswell Incident book, though, you should check it out. It's actually, this was the first time that really the mention of alien bodies was made, because they had a.
Are you telling people listening to podcasts to read?
Yeah, they interviewed an
and not
engineer.
Listen to all podcasts.
They interviewed an engineer guy. I would do both to supplement. Maybe you don't get the entire Roswell story just from this podcast. Maybe you want to read a little bit more and hear a little less yawning from the host. Possibly.
And yeah, you probably want more convenience with the co-host not being like, let's wait.
So the it is late in the day. I can understand why you would be tired at 5 o'clock.
It is 5:06 currently.
So
that's not that late. I go to sleep at 10 average.
The person that they interviewed, though, was a guy who was working there in Roswell, and he's the one that said that he saw alien bodies and that the army showed up and they sort of moved all this stuff out of the area very quickly. A lot of people don't know, kind of doubt that story, and they're not sure about that, but that sort of led to a whole bunch of other, series and television shows like Alien Autopsy, and where they claimed that they had people who witnessed that these alien bodies had been recovered, the gray aliens. You've heard of the gray aliens,
Now
right?
that I've seen the aliens, this picture of alien, you're probably going to have to insult here, or maybe we'll get demonetized for it. But it looks... I don't think they could fake this. Like, it looks burnt. It looks like there's, some blood on it. It looks burnt from the fall.
Well, you can do anything with special effects, I guess.
Back then, we didn't have VFX. And, like, you can't make it look like it's that bone. Like, that almost is impossible for that fleshy bone looking.
Well, again, this is great for a
podcast. Some of the skin is,
podcast.
like, peeling away.
You know, when you're talking about
I'm
a picture that
describing
people
it, okay?
can't see, it's a great podcast subject. But talking about the actual incident, I mean, you know, we've been through a few unexplained things now where aliens were maybe to blame or at the center of it. You know, I think Roswell's probably one of the more entertaining ones. I don't know, maybe that's not the right word. It's probably the most well known, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But can I say something quick?
It's your podcast,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. We have done, as you said, so many unsolved things. But out of everything we've done with the unsolved things, out of the things that could be the subject of this, the only one that I plausibly believe in is demons for some reason. And maybe my experience watching Disenchantment, maybe my experience watching BuzzFeed Unsolved in the Sally House episode, which is a great episode. It's 3 horrifying cases of demons and ghosts, and it's on BuzzFeed Unsolved Supernatural. BuzzFeed Unsolved. It's an amazing episode. Definitely, you should go watch it. They do Winchester, they do Sally House, they do the Doll Island in Mexico. Amazing episode. But back to what I was saying, it just feels like demons and aliens are the most plausible out of all of them. Because, you know, aliens are grounded in all reality. So are demons. They're grounded in all religions.
Yeah, I think aliens are probably more likely to exist than any of the other sort of unexplained phenomenon that we've talked about.
Yeah.
I would say aliens are more likely than, say, Bigfoot, you know?
No, I'd say Bigfoot's more likely.
Aliens are more likely than, the Mothman, you know, kind of thing. Unless the Mothman is an alien, in which case...
What if the Mothman is like the Doom, is like the aliens and demons and Doom?
Mm-hmm.
He's a Doom-alien. A demon alien.
Huh.
Wow.
So...
As Kiana would say. Wow.
Interesting. So there's another sort of interesting theory about Roswell that I had really never heard of until we started preparing for the show here. And it's a more recent theory. It's
you just go down and you're reading it.
It's about 10 years old that the Roswell incident was sort of a joint operation by the Soviets using a Nazi
I told you, the Soviets.
doctor.
I told you, it's the Soviets.
There are a lot of kind of controversial claims about that that Stalin had basically not hired but captured some crazy Nazi scientist and was
like that one dude from COD Zombies.
Right, was having him basically engineer sort of small people that could fit into quicker aircraft. In other words, aliens weren't really aliens. They were like genetically modified humans.
Small people.
Who were sent in these, secret aircraft.
The Cold War.
And, that to me is just...
Not just from Cold War. It was like World War II era.
That is some pretty crazy stuff to think about. If they were, they were actually kind of experimenting like that. It's almost like a Clone Wars type thing, right? Or like in Star Wars or something. They're making these soldiers or these pilots
out of Jango Fett.
Yeah,
they're not making out of small people.
It's crazy, I mean, they were part of it is they were sort of like drones. They could control them from far away, and they were small enough to fit in these small little aircraft. Drone. That to me, I hadn't actually heard that before until we started researching this, and it's very interesting that Stalin would have gotten a hold of Joseph Mengele and used him to create these basically small, like aviators, like tiny pilots,
tiny people
who were pilots, but were humans. Also being mind controlled, and
tiny men, tiny women.
It's crazy. I don't know. It seems like maybe That's even crazier than if it was really aliens. I think I would probably believe it was aliens before I believe something like that. But
Oh my
then again,
god.
I guess you never know. So, there's been a lot written about Roswell, a lot of documentaries, a lot of
Yeah.
things over the years. What do you want to add here? What do you think you can add to this Roswell incident story
What
with
I
your
can add
podcast?
what I can add is I say most people involved in this probably own some tinfoil hats.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. Well, you're the one that's doing a podcast about conspiracies and unexplained phenomenon, though.
And you're the ones like, yeah, let's do something that will yeah, let's do a podcast about true crime and death with my child.
Yeah.
This will be fun. A
Okay.
family bonding experience, you said. You won't have nightmares, you said.
So I guess that about does it for episode 8, Roswell.
Yeah, I watched Bussy and Saul when I was 8, so.
Any idea what episode 9 is going to be? Sneak preview?
Episode 9 is probably. Let's do some thinking. Just so you know, it's gonna be a true crime episode, but I'm going to put this in probably the description. I'm going to go and like my source. I'm just gonna like scroll down and forth and get do like the wheel app, and I'm gonna put every single like thing that I can, every true crime thing that I can come up with, and whatever it lands on, that'll be the next episode.
Okay. Well, interesting. Maybe we
So it'll
should
be a draw for next episode.
maybe we should watch Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull tonight. It's a story in there about a guy who's trying to recover an alien artifact from Roswell. What do you think? You up for that?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Okay, let's start talking about what movie we're probably gonna watch, and let's start talking about this outro. Well, yeah, this is an outro. This is very outro-y. Subscribe or else aliens will be aliens and invade your households and probably maybe abduct you, and then you have probably a good time with them. Maybe drink some beer with the aliens. I don't know. But subscribe and that will happen. You will get an alien visit and they will be friends with you and they will kill everyone that you want to. It's kind of like Death Note, but Alien Note, okay?
Or maybe
So subscribe,
they'll be...
and even if you like the video, they'll give you a cool alien dog pet. If you watch this video all the way through to where I'm saying this, then you can have a choice to subscribe or like. But if you hit the dislike button, I'm sorry, but you're gonna die in 5 minutes.
That's probably not true. But will these be
I'm sorry. Goodbye.
Will these be real aliens, or will they be small Russian
Small Russians.
engineered
Small-
pilots?
Yep, I can say that they're small Russians.
Okay, well, that does it for episode 8. Thanks, everybody. Like and
Yeah.
subscribe.
The yawns are back, and goodbye, people.
We'll get you some coffee for the next episode.
Yeah. Bye.